Hello everyone, today is 13th of April. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, first of all, let's have a look on today's GS folder. So first of all, we'll take a quote from Saint Augustine. He says, right is right even if no one is doing it. Wrong is wrong even if everyone is doing it. Now, often this thing has been seen that into the name of traditions, in the name of social sanctions, many a times immoral, unethical things are done. For example, into the past, Sati Pratha was being carried because the entire society believed it to be ethical. Even in today's time, there are many such kind of things which are being done as a matter of tradition or as a matter of social sanction. For example, the inferior treatment given to the women, the unjust treatment given to the Dalits, etc. So, friends, the principle of ethics or the principles of morality are not dependent on anybody's approval. Rather, in itself, they have their own worth. Guys, please do utilize this particular quote into the questions related to the GS paper number 4 as well as into the paper of essay. So, that is all. And now, let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now, friends, taking up the first article, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it is a brief update with respect to government's strategy to contain the pandemic of COVID-19. Now, guys, as we know that a second wave of COVID-19 has come and cases are rising very rapidly. Even 1,70,000 cases have been there in India into the just 24 hours. So, into this particular light, subject expert committee had given the emergency use authorization to Sputnik 5. Now, guys, Sputnik 5 is a vaccine that has been developed for the COVID-19 by the Russia. Now, the Sputnik 5 vaccine works onto the principle of immunogenicity onto which the earlier vaccine, that is the Covaxin as well as the Covishield, which are based on. Guys, into the Sputnik 5, two of the human adenovirus, that is the cold virus, they are administered, and these particular virus, their genetic makeup is similar to the spike protein that is available onto the surface of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and as it preps up our immune system, we develop the antibodies which are needed if in future the COVID-19 virus infects us. So basically it develops the immune response into our body, and the earlier vaccines were also developed onto this particular principle. Now, guys, the Sputnik 5 has been criticized earlier because it was said that without the publicizing of the enough of the efficacy data, this particular vaccine was given an approval into the Russia. However, guys, later the trial results were published into the health journal Lancet, and there an efficacy of 91.6% was claimed. And now the Sputnik 5, apart from India, is being given the emergency use authorization in more than 59 countries such as the Argentina, Belarus, Hungary, United Arab Emirates, etc. Now, guys, with respect to the logistics storage, this particular vaccine is more stable than the mRNA based vaccines of the USA. Now, this particular vaccine can be stored as a ready to use solution in a water which has been frozen to minus 18 degrees Celsius, or as a freeze dried powder stored at 2 to 8 degree Celsius. So, into the India, this particular vaccine is more stable to be administered. Now, guys, as the approval has been given by the subject expert committee, now a node of DCGI is being waited upon. DCGI is the Drug Controller General of India, and it gives the final approval to the vaccines. It is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It is expected that the final approval will be given in next 7 to 10 days, and then India will have 3 vaccines. So, guys, that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Guys, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and the findings of this article you can use in the answers related to the GS paper number 1, society and diversity. Now, see, when we talk about the diversity in India, it has one of the flip side also, that this diversity many a times it creates the differences, and that differences leads to hate, leads to discrimination and such kind of things. Now, guys, into this particular respect, many times it has been observed that citizens from the northeast, they become a target of hatred. And for that particular thing, the National Law University had carried a survey under the aegis of the Indian Council of Social Science and Research, and into this particular survey, many things have been found. It has been found that the prejudice against the people of Northeast has been severely increased into the aftermath of pandemic of COVID-19, because the origin were traced back to the China. And into this particular light, it has been said that the 78% people from the Northeast, they believe that physical appearance is a key reason for the prejudices, and because of their mongoloid facial features, they often becomes the subject of the hatredness. Then, guys, more than 32% of the incidents of discrimination, they go unreported, and as first of all there is a fear that if they'll report then further repercussions will be there. Secondly, even the enforcement agencies, the polices, they are not very much cooperative. Here we can see that the 34% of the people who went to the police to register their FIR, they had faced the problems. Then guys, further their work is also being impacted. More than 60% of the people from the northeast, they say that they had seen the prejudices which had impacted their studies or their work. Now guys, when we talk about the further areas of the discrimination, they face discrimination when they go for renting accommodation, visiting a restaurant, or even while finding the transportation. So friends, we can say that now the time is there that as the Quit India movement was carried by Mahatma Gandhi ji to ward off the evils of colonialism, now the time is there that we need to practice the Knit India movement so that we can appreciate our differences and people from the fringes, they can be brought into the mainstream. Guys, please do utilize the reference of the ICSSR, that is the Indian Council of Social Science Research's survey and these findings. So that is all. Now we'll move to the next article. Friends, this article has been taken from the Business Standard newspaper, and here a remark has been made onto the state of Indian economy by the former RBI Governor D. Subbarao. He had said that India, rather than seeing a V-shaped recovery, will be seeing more of a K-shaped recovery. Now guys, what does this K-shaped recovery means? We'll understand this first of all. See, before the time of the COVID-19, that is in 2019, major sections of society, formal, informal, organized, unorganized, they were growing at a similar kind of pace. However, as the lockdown was imposed after the pandemic of COVID-19, there was a steep decline and a kind of a depression was there. However, very soon, a particular section of Indian economy, that is one driven by the technology, the one which was formal, they rebound very fastly because the work from home was a very much possibility for them, and even their expenses got declined. Even the people who were into this service sector, they were not able to spend, their savings got built up, and therefore for them a recovery was very much sharp and upward looking. However, the other section, the ones which are into the informal sector or the one who for whom the work from home was not available, they lost their jobs, their savings got declined, and a kind of an economic stress came into them. So therefore a kind of a K-shaped recovery is there, where one section is improving exponentially and other section is very much static. So this particular thing further will be bringing the inequality into the Indian economy. Now guys, the inequality has also been highlighted by the Oxfam report, which has published the inequality virus report. According to this report, it has been seen that there is a sharp increase into the wealth of the billionaires in India. If we talk about just the 11 billionaires, their wealth has been increased to such an extent that just by increased wealth we can finance the MG Narega for 10 years or the health ministry's budget for the 10 years. So guys, this particular, it has been called that the pandemic is also bringing the inequality. So guys, rather than the V-shaped recovery, the K-shaped recovery is a more possible option. Now, further it has been said that now as the cases have increased, the forecast for Indian economy has also been downgraded. Earlier it was said that into the present fiscal, the GDP growth will be 12.5% and India might emerge out as world's fastest growing economy. But now it has been reduced to 11.5%. So guys, this is all about the prospect of Indian economy into the wake of increasing number of cases. Now we'll move to the next article. Guys, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it talks about the recently held Vienna talks. Now, before going into this article, we'll be taking up some of the brief background. Guys, Iran was accused by the International Atomic Energy Association as well as the Western world that the Iran is carrying the enrichment of their uranium, and by that enrichment they are trying to create the war grade uranium. So therefore the IAEA as well as the Western world major powers, they try to came out with the deal with the Iran, and that particular deal was called as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Now, the major participant into this deal were China, Russia, UK, France, Germany, USA onto the one hand. On another hand, there was Iran. Now, under this particular deal, it was said that the Iran need to restrict their uranium enrichment, otherwise the sanctions will be imposed on it. The Iran agreed to that particular deal. Many of the enrichment facilities of Iran, they were opened to the International Atomic Energy Association, and many of the operations were also suspended. However, guys, when the Donald Trump became the president, he said that the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action is a very diluted conditionality onto the Iran and much more more sanctions onto the Iran are needed to be imposed. So what USA did? USA withdrawn from this JCPOA and the new round of sanctions were imposed onto the Iran. Now, guys, as the Joe Biden has become the new president into the USA, he is again rethinking to join the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Now, guys, what had happened? The Vienna talks are the talks which have been done by all the participants which were earlier into the JCPOA minus the USA. USA has not been there into the Vienna talks. Now, guys, into the Vienna talks, and a bid to revive the JCPOA has been made. Now, guys, the USA has also shown the flexibility recently, and it is also signaling that it is ready to engage with the Iran. For example, recently the USA had ended the support for the Saudi Arabia in their fight against the Houthis into the Yemen. Now, guys, the Houthis are supported by the Iran, and as the Saudi Arabia is fighting against the Houthis, and earlier as USA was supporting the Saudi Arabia, so there is this particular point was an antagonization point between the USA and Iran, and now by ending this support, this particular friction has been reduced. After that, guys, the USA had also offered that $1 billion which has been frozen into the bank accounts of the South Korea, they will be released back to the Iran. So basically these are the points which shows that USA is also showing the flexibility. However, guys, the time is a very important factor now, because into the June the Iran is going for their presidential election, and it is very much pertinent that this particular deal should be signed before the June. And after that there are other reasons also. For example, guys, right now the Iran had supported the Shia militias into the Iraq, and these Shia militias, they are targeting the US forces and US bases into the Iraq. So onto this particular front also, if USA wants to conserve their assets into the Iraq, they should sign a kind of a normalization treaty with the Iran. And then, guys, finally there is also a kind of a shadow Israel Iran war which is going on, and into this particular thing also the tensions are increasing. And here, if USA comes in between, then it has a potential that the things can be normalized and could be eased off. So, guys, this is all about this particular article, and therefore the time is a crucial factor into the Iran as well as US deal. So that is all. Now we'll move to the next article. Friends, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it is basically talking that why recently the renewed wave of COVID-19 has come. Now, guys, into all this particular thing, see, the term is being used, that is the pandemic fatigue. Now, the pandemic fatigue means that now people are fed up with the COVID-19 and they are willing to take the risk. Now, guys, to explain it into the more technical terms, what has happened, people are now seeing the opportunity cost of prolonged adherence to restriction as too high. Now, when you are not interacting with your fellow ones, when you are not going to work, when you are not going into the market, you feel that you are missing too much socially, psychologically, emotionally, financially, and now these particular sacrifices people are not ready to take. And even now the discomforts are also arising, because, guys, in India there is a kind of a deficit into the housing, mobility options, good living conditions are not there. So therefore people want to resume back to their normal activities. So therefore now, into the light of pandemic fatigue, government is advised that they need to bring only the rational activity curbs, and it also needs to incentivize people to stay into the home, and into the incentivization they can compensate the workers or the people into the informal sectors who had been impacted, so that the opportunity cost which looks too high basically becomes a little bit shallower. So therefore, guys, now a kind of a COVID appropriate strategy into the aftermath of pandemic fatigue is needed. Guys, just a good dimension was given here, please keep it in mind, particularly if you are giving interview this particular year, this dimension is very much important. So that is all. Now we'll move to the next article. Guys, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it talks about the recent irritant that emerged between the India and the USA. So, guys, on 7th of April, what happened? A US warship, that is the USS John Paul Jones, it entered into the Indian exclusive economic zone, and just around the 130 nautical miles west of Lakshadweep, it carried a kind of a passage and claimed FONOP. Now, FONOP means Freedom of Navigation of Operations. Under the FONOP, USA says that that waters of the sea, they are free for the passage, and USA doesn't recognizes any country's exclusive rights over the waters into their EEZ. And even the USA says that under the United Nations Convention on the Law of Seas, they have the right to do that particular thing. According to them, under the article number 56 and 58 part 5 of the UN clause, the US ships, they have right to venture into the high seas as well as within the 200 nautical mile EEZ of the other countries, and therefore they had entered into the Indian territory. Now India has been dismayed by this particular thing, because guys, India says that the declaration of entering into the Indian waters is an attempt to censure the India's image. However guys, still if we see, this particular matter has not been flared out of proportion, and a kind of a tacit understanding at the same point has also been seen into both the countries, because they had not publicly condemned the each other's efforts. And there are two reasons for such kind of an understanding. Number one, India knows this particular thing, that claiming a FONOP is a diplomatic tool of the USA, and USA had taken up this particular thing for such a long time. So therefore, India is not that much frustrated. Further guys, India also knows this particular thing, that the USA had claimed much more FONOPs into the Chinese water than into the Indian water, and occasionally coming into the Indian water is just to show a kind of a balanced approach. Here guys, we can see since 2016, US Navy has carried just 3 forays into the Indian EEZ, and when we see into the Chinese waters, then guys, in 2016, the US ventured for 3 times. It ventured 4 times in 2017, 6 times in 2018, 8 times in 2019, and 9 times in 2020. So compared to that particular thing, venturing into the Indian water is very much less. Moreover guys, the patrols of the US had come within 12 nautical miles of the territorial sea limit around the China's island. So by this particular fact, India knows that by coming into the Indian waters, USA is just showing a kind of an balancing act. Then guys, on to the other hand, USA also knows this particular thing, that India had conveyed a dismay, and for that there is a reason, that India just wants to give a signal to the China that if US is coming, we are condemning the US, so you also should not come into the later time. So into this particular way, a tacit understanding is there in between both the countries. Moreover guys, there is also one more factor that is coming, that Lakshadweep island has been there around which they had ventured, and it was a very smart choice, because Andaman and Nicobar Island are strategically more important to the India, and if they had ventured around the Andaman and Nicobar Island, the scene would have been much more uglier. And then guys, further as a part of our conclusion, this particular thing can be said that into the future, both the countries need to much more responsible. USA needs to keep this particular thing, that such kind of venturing has much more repercussion into the New Delhi, and as well as India also needs to understand that there are certain provisions into the UN clause, and on them India cannot bring a kind of a subordinate rule or a subordinate legislation. So guys, that is all about this particular article. And when I'm talking about subordinate legislation, it simply means that India had put a conditionality that if you are coming into our EEZ, you need to take a consent. If China says that you need to take an authorization, so the authorization by China, consent by the India, they are kind of a subordinate rules onto the UN clause. So guys, that is all about this article. I hope you have understood, and now we'll move to the next article. Guys, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it is talking about some of the ways in which the production of the vaccines can be improved. And now guys, this particular thing, just 2-3 important points are there. You can put into your answers if the question onto the COVID management is coming. Now guys, these particular means have been divided in 2 parts, that is the non-intellectual property based solutions and the intellectual property based options. First of all, it has been provided that the section number 2 of the Epidemic Disease Act of 1897 empowers the government that during the outbreak of an epidemic, they can take measures which they feel that are necessary to prevent the outbreak or the spread. Then further, the section 26B of the Drug and Cosmetics Act of 1940 also empowers the government to regulate the sale, manufacturing and distribution of a drug which is essential to meet the requirement of an emergency. Now guys, what can do by the virtue of these particular power, the government can come out with a law which provides that the other vaccine makers have to loan out their manufacturing facilities to the Serum Institute as well as to the Bharat Biotech, so that they can develop the vaccine. Because now guys, the demand are also coming that everyone above the 18 years of age should be allowed to get vaccinated. So this was one of the way. Then guys, there is other, that is the IP based solution. And here we find that there is section number 100 of the Patent Act of 1970. Under this, the central government has a power that they can authorize anyone to use any patent or patent application for the purpose of the government. So guys, now the patent of COVID, Covishield and Covaxin can be given to the other companies so that they can manufacture the drug and can give to the government. After that, there is also the section number 92 of the Patent Act, which talks about the compulsory licensing. That is a license to issue a manufacture patented product without the consent of the patent holder. So here also the patent can be given to the other manufacturers and they can develop the vaccine. Then guys, there could be another way also. It has been provided that there can also be a possibility that all the projects which are being funded by the taxpayers money, there no IP rights should be claimed. Now the vaccination project for the COVID-19 is being carried via the taxpayers money, so for that no IP patent should be given exclusively to one company. Now guys, these are some of the solutions, but I believe that the ones which are talking about the patent infringement will be not that much good, because at the end of the day the developers also need to have some kind of a profit motive so that they can further ramp up their research and development. But anyhow, these could be some of the universal solutions, and working on to them, government can enhance the production capability. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Friends, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and here we can see that the China had extended a $500 million loan to the Sri Lanka, and it is a part of a $1 billion loan that was asked by the Sri Lanka last year. Now guys, apart from these $1 billion, the China has also extended a $1.5 billion credit currency swap facility. Now, all this particular thing is being done into the name of a weakening economy of Sri Lanka because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But guys, this thing will have a strategic implication onto the India's interest. See, although it has been known from very long that China plays the debt diplomacy, under which it gives considerable money to some of the countries and then ask in return for their strategic assets or make them proxy against some of the adversaries. And now, as Sri Lanka is very much into the vicinity of India, such piling up of a loan onto the Sri Lanka might be abused by the China into the long term. Now we can see that already the China had given the loans worth more than $5 billion to the Sri Lanka, and this particular thing further adds into the foray. So guys, India also needs to carry their economic diplomacy very carefully into the Sri Lanka to balance the negative influence of the China. Now guys, India had already extended a $400 million swap facility through the Reserve Bank of India and had provided a 3-month rollover facility also, but it was not further extended, and guys, even much has not been done in comparison to the China. So guys, that is all about this particular article. Please keep it into your mind into the light of India, Sri Lanka, China triangle. So friends, that is all about this article and for today's newspaper analysis. I hope that you have understood it. Thank you so much.